So we
Deepa Devi Dasi ki jai.
So we're continuing our reading of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, entitled Knowledge of the Absolute, text 25 this week.
Yeah.
So a very famous verse, Prabhupada quoted this many times. Just a little recap from last week. So we've been talking a bit about people that surrendered the demigods, and then last week it switched to talking about people that worship God in his impersonal nature, so the Brahman. So they worship the impersonal nature energy of God. So that God has an all-pervading energy called Brahman, as we know, and he has the feature as the Paramatma, the soul in everyone's heart, and then he's Bhagavan also, the supreme person who's in Vaikuntha, who plays the flute and herds the cows and steals butter and yogurt and things like that. So some people don't understand and worship the personal feature of the Lord, Krishna. They just worship the impersonal energy, and they're known as Mayavadis or Brahmavadis, different names for that, impersonalists in English. And according to the verse last week, 24, these people, they are thinking that when God comes in this material world in a form, like Krishna, like Rama, like Nrsimha, Varaha, a couple of days ago was, yesterday was Vamanadeves, the dwarf Brahmana incarnation of the Lord, that took 3 steps of land. He's also known as Trivikrama. So in 3 steps, he took all the property from Bali Maharaj, like that, took the property of Indra back, like that's his whole pastime. So they say that these different incarnations, they have actually temporarily manifested out of the Brahman. So they're saying that originally they're Brahman, and out of the Brahman, these forms, incarnations, avatars have come from that Brahman, and then they go back into the Brahman, and then there's no form. So they basically say these forms of incarnations are temporary material forms. So their understanding is that when Krishna comes, he has a material body. When Ram comes, a material body. Nrsimha, they come, a material body. The only thing they say is eternal and real is the Brahman energy. And anything that has a form is temporary and material. But actually that's wrong. That's completely wrong. That's not the correct understanding of the Vedas. And Krishna's saying in that verse 24 that due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So actually when God comes to the material world as Krishna or any other form, his form is imperishable. Imperishable means eternal. So it's not a material form. It's not temporary. Krishna's forms are never born. They never grow old. They never get sick. They never die. They're eternal. They manifest in the material world temporarily. Like Krishna was on the earth for 125 years. I think it was 120 or 125 years. But he never looked older than 16 years old because his form is imperishable. He never grows old. And he wasn't born like what we're born. He just appeared in the prison of Kamsa, fully grown with long hair and 4 arms, Vishnu form, fully dressed with ornaments, all gold and jewels and everything like that. He didn't appear as a screaming baby out of the womb covered in blood. And he didn't die of cancer or AIDS or have a heart attack or he just ascended back to the spiritual world. He just ascended back to the spiritual world. One hunter fired an arrow that landed near to his foot. So this is after he'd passed through the Battle of Kurukshetra, and his body was filled up with arrows at that time during the 18-day war. But he didn't die from that. But after that battle, one hunter fired an arrow thinking it looked like a deer. From a distance, he thought Krishna's foot looked like the tail of a deer or something like that. Krishna was sitting with his back to a banyan tree. So this is all recorded in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Was it really like, it's been cursed that all the Yadu dynasty, there will be, because there were the kids was playing with one of the saint and put that one on the stomach something and tell me it's a boy or a girl. He said, oh, no,
Yes.
you're faking this one. And then he said, well, you know what? It's something come out of the stomach and it'll be kill all the Yadu dynasty and at the end. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, very nice to hear that. Yeah. So that was just after that, shortly after that, when before Krishna left, he wanted to remove all of his dynasty from the earth. Because remember that, like before Krishna appeared, right? We spoke briefly about that Krishna asked all the demigods to take birth in the Yadu dynasty to assist him in his pastimes to remove the burden of the demons from the earth. So many of the Yadu dynasty, they were demigods, or they were also eternal associates from Vaikuntha that came down from Vaikuntha with him. So when Krishna was leaving, he also wanted everyone else to go back to their positions, either in the spiritual world or in the heavenly planets. So how is he going to do that? How is he going to get everyone to leave? So they all had to die. So, but who can kill them? There's no one strong enough on the earth to kill the Yadu dynasty because they're as powerful as God. So the only people that can kill them are themselves.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Arranged that they got intoxicated by drinking like fermented wine, and then in the intoxicated state they fought with each other, or they took like bamboos, like rushes like that,
and then throwing it,
stabbed each other and stuff like that. They even attacked Krishna and Balaram, apparently. But this is all arranged by Krishna.
Of course, it's a Leela.
Them. It's a Leela. It's a pastime to withdraw them. And Krishna also, apart from that fact, also wanted to teach us a lesson that even if you're a devotee, even if you're Krishna conscious, the material world's still a horrible place. Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a horrible place. Look, they're all devotees, right? And how did they finish up their time here? Horribly, completely horribly. So, we shouldn't be in the illusion that, now I'm Krishna conscious, everything's going to be all shanti, happy, peaceful. No, there's calamities happen, calamities happen, even to devotees. But
Maya can attack anyone.
Yeah, Maya can attack anyone. But see, for devotees, a devotee looks forward to departing from this body in whichever way, whether it's a car accident or a heart attack or whatever like that, because we're just waiting to go back to Godhead. So we're not thinking that old age, disease, and death is all going to be, easy and nice and everything. No, it can be very difficult. But a devotee looks forward to it, knowing that this is not the end. This is just a transition for me to get into my eternal spiritual body. And even if I don't make it back to Godhead, Krishna says that if you practice the bhakti yoga, you're going to have a better birth in your next life. So you're going to go to a better place like that. So, but that's that Krishna wanted to show us, that reality there. Even if you're a devotee, the material world is still not a nice place. And that also should increase the impetus to get out of here. We shouldn't think, now I'm nice and comfortable. I got my little farm and I'm growing my veggies and I got some cows and I'm going to live peacefully and everything's going to be nice. We're going to live happily ever after. That doesn't work like that. Even from my point of view, the last year, the weather has been completely rotten. I've hardly been able to grow anything. I've almost given up growing anything because it's just been rain after rain.
In this material world or Kali Yuga, whatever we call, all the sage from the Prabhupada and Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila, all they were there having that the taste of the nectar in this life. Yeah. So they came and then they got a taste of it, the nectar. So if they don't come, they want to have a taste. So it's not all.
Well, if you're talking about pure devotees, like you mentioned.
So pure devotees, they came and they have a taste of the nectar of the Krishna, and then if they don't come, they won't have a taste. So
no, but if they didn't come here, they would be in the spiritual world tasting.
Yes, that's nectar. Right.
It's not like they have to be here in order to be happy. They'll be happy in the Vaikuntha or wherever they are.
Okay.
I mean, and interesting you mentioned Bhaktivinoda Thakur because it's the anniversary of his appearance
Today,
date.
yeah.
Yeah,
Appearance day. Yeah.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Avirbhava or appearance day festival, and also it's the disappearance anniversary of Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur, yes.
Very
I didn't
special.
know that it's fasting till noon. I didn't. I got the message at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
I
That's
just
okay.
had a fruit. It's okay.
Yeah, some of the Vaishnav calendars these days, they don't tell. when it's
No,
They used to say half day fast, full day fast.
we have a group here that in the temple we have got a WhatsApp group, the chat group, and so we just talk in that chat group. All the 10-15 people there, Jayashri Mataji, and then the pujaris and all there. I'm there too. So they sent me a message 11 o'clock. I said, oh.
But late.
Yesterday as well, when we breaking the fast in the morning, 5:38 to 6:11, and then it's gonna be the Vara that appearance for fasting till noon. Yesterday.
For Vamana yesterday.
Yeah, but then if you break the fast, how can you be fasting after that? I didn't understand.
No, that's not how it's done.
I'm just confused.
Yeah. No, see, the day before Vamana's appearance is Ekadasi. So
yes.
what was supposed to be done is that you fast half the day on Ekadasi for the following day's appearance of Vamana Day. So you can't fast half the day for Vamana Day.
No.
Because you're supposed to break fast from Ekadasi.
Yeah.
So you actually you fast for Vamana Day the day before on Ekadasi. So you fast half day on Ekadasi, then you eat grains on Vamana Dwadasi the following day.
It's just how can it be like 6 o'clock? I break the fast and again.
I know.
Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's okay.
It's okay as long as your intentions there. I want to do fasting on there, breaking time of the fast. That's very important. So Krishna will see the intention.
Yeah. And in one sense, a devotee is already fasting to some degree, every devotee, because we're fasting from food that's not prasadam. Means we only eat prasadam, means actually if you make the vow to only eat prasadam, in one sense, you're fasting all the time. You get what I'm saying? You're fasting from McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, just eating, unoffered food, whatever like that. So in one sense, that's also fasting. So every devotee is already doing fasting. But on top, if you want to stop eating food altogether for some degree of time, that's good too. But it doesn't matter if you miss some of the so-called fasting. It's not a big deal. The main thing Prabhupada emphasized is service. You should have enough energy. Like if you start fainting or feeling lightheaded because you're not eating, and you can't do your service, you can't do your chanting, or can't give a class, or can't, do a program or an arti or whatever because you're not feeling well, then that's actually a disservice. So actually you should eat. Like one devotee told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he said, why are you not going out on distribution today? And he said, oh, Guru Maharaj, I'm not feeling well because I'm fasting. It's Ekadasi. And then the Guru said, so you eat some grains. Eat some grain and get out and go and distribute books. So that's the importance of service is most important.
Service is more important than fasting. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you, in order to fast, if you have to just sleep to pass through it or whatever, that's worse. It's better, or you can't do anything. It's better to eat and then do your work, But on Ekadasi, ideally, we should try to avoid eating grains. So, but if you can be good and have good enough health eating fruits and vegetables and dairy products and that, and nuts and stuff, and still do your work, that's good. But even if that's not enough, okay, according to what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, you can even eat regular grains. If you need more energy to do your work or whatever. So that's something.
I think a dry fruit and the yogurt's fine.
Yeah.
It's milk has got a lot of strength. Once you have a milk, right,
Yeah.
it completes your whatever body need is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
plenty.
Could be enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, that's what we're reading about in personalism. So Krishna continues in this verse talking about impersonalism. So let's read the Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Text 25. Naham prakasha sarvasya
Naham prakasha sarvasya
yogamaya samavrita
yogamaya samavrita
buddho yam na bijanati
muddhoyam na bijanati
loko mam majam avyayam.
loko mam jam avyam.
Deepa Mataji, you like to read the English, please?
I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by internal potency, my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible.
So one of Prabhupada's favorite words that he liked using is mudha.
Muddha.
Mudha means full. I think I've heard him use the word mudha more than any other word. He says it quite often, full. So, and where does he get that from? Is that Prabhupada himself, he just likes saying...
He used the word rascal as well.
Yeah, because rascal is the English translation
Muddha.
of... So fools and rascals, so it's
Okay.
interchangeable. You could say mudha means fool or mudha means rascal. So yeah, he would often say rascals or he would say mudha, so... But where did he get it from? He got it from Krishna. So here Krishna is saying, and Krishna also uses the word mudha in quite a few places of the Bhagavad Gita, because that's the nature of the souls in the material world, is they're fools and rascals, mudhas, which is, why is that? Where does that come from, that being foolish and being a rascal? It comes from ignorance. So that's like the main quality that's like covering the soul. Actually, originally the soul is not a mudha and not ignorant. Originally the soul is, like we've said many times, Sat Chit Ananda.
Pure.
So Sat, eternal. Chit means knowledge, full knowledge. So it's the opposite of being a mudha. So when you have full, you're definitely not going to be ignorant. You're not going to be foolish or a rascal. And then Ananda means blissful and happy. So... But in the material world, that knowledge that we originally have is covered over by ignorance. So in ignorance, we do many foolish things, isn't it? We do so many foolish things because of ignorance. Why do we act foolishly? Why do we act like a rascal? Is because of ignorance. So that is part of Maya's influence on us, that we get covered by ignorance. And why do we get covered by that ignorance? Is because we turn away from Krishna. So as soon as the soul turns away from Krishna and wants to enjoy without Krishna, separately from Krishna, immediately Maya covers us over. And that's good. That's she has a Shakti, Avaranatmaka Shakti and Prakseptatmaka Shakti. She has two covering potencies, covers over our knowledge and pushes us down into the material world further and further, and lower species of life. So this is very unfortunate, but this is the situation. And Krishna is saying, if we are in ignorance and we're acting foolishly and acting like a rascal like that, unintelligently, then he covers himself. Means we won't be able to see Krishna, not possible. Like, many people say that, right? Oh, you show me God, and then I'll believe, right? Show me God, and then I'll believe in God. But here, Krishna's saying, I don't show myself to you fools. You fools are never going to see me. I'm never going to show myself to you as long as you're a fool. So first thing is, we have to get out of ignorance and we have to become intelligent. And then if we're lucky, then he'll show himself. Because what's revealed here is that it's only by his mercy, by, as we say, prasadam, by his mercy, by his grace, he reveals himself. Actually, bhakti is a process of you do service, and then Krishna becomes pleased by your service, and then out of his mercy, he reveals himself to you. But actually, there's nothing you can do to see Krishna. There's nothing you can do to make Krishna show himself. If Krishna,
Krishna can show in the different forms. It's like not necessarily he come with the flute only. He can
correct.
come in the any form, and then if you're ignorant, you would not like a Duryodhan does not understand what Arjuna did. Krishna
Yes.
is a god, so Duryodhan did. If you're ignorant, he will pass by and you don't even know.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's amazing, because some people think that, well, Krishna was on the planet 5,000 years ago, so everyone at that time could see him, right?
No,
not at all.
only the devotee. Vidur seen that, and Arjuna, and that's right.
Vidura could understand that Krishna is Bhagavan, but Duryodhana couldn't, like that others couldn't. It's actually said only some hundreds, a few, maybe hundreds of people could understand at that time that Krishna was God. Maximum people thought that he was just a coward boy, and later on, when he left Vrindavan, he went to Mathura and then Dwarka. They thought he was a prince or a king, like that. Or many people thought he's very strong, he's very powerful, he's killing the demon. But they didn't think he was God. They just thought he's a very strong person. Or some people thought he's very beautiful. He's so beautiful, like Cupid. Or some people thought he's a demigod. He's so attractive that he's some demigod has taken birth, like that. So people thought different things. It's actually mentioned when Krishna went to Mathura to kill Kamsa. Kamsa had organized a wrestling match. So when Krishna entered into the wrestling arena, it's mentioned there in the Krishna book and in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam that Krishna appeared differently to different people. So the woman saw him as a very beautiful, handsome man. The wrestlers saw that he was as strong as a thunderbolt. So different people saw him in different ways. But only a few people saw that he was actually the Supreme Person of Godhead, that he's actually Bhagavan, and that he had a spiritual form. Only a few people understood that. And those are the ones that were his devotees, that were very intelligent, like that. But most people, they didn't understand Krishna because they're fools, because they're ignorant and they're fools, and it covers over. So Krishna has this, it says that he covers himself with his dazzling effulgence. In one verse in the Ishopanishad that we did on Saturdays, it says that Krishna covers himself with his dazzling effulgence, his Brahmajyoti, so you can't see Krishna. And that goes for these impersonalists. See, the impersonalists are attracted to the dazzling effulgence, the bright light that comes from Krishna's body. But they don't know where the bright light comes from. Actually, the bright light comes from Krishna's body. Just like the sunlight comes from the sun god, the dazzling sun god. From him, the sun planet, the sunlight comes from. So in the same way, the spiritual light, the Brahmajyoti, comes from Krishna's beautiful spiritual form.
The sun is the eye of Krishna.
Yeah. Yes.
So anyone can see.
I mean, it's like anyone can see the sunlight, but can anyone see Suryadev?
No.
No, that's right. So he's covered. See, the light is so bright that you can't see what's behind the light. What's behind the light is Suryadev or Vivashvan. And he's traveling on a chariot pulled by many horses. When's the last time you saw his chariot and the horses? No, we can't see because we don't have the eyes to see.
No.
But if you're a devotee of Suryadev, you could see Suryadev. Actually, it's mentioned in Krishna book also that in Dwarka, there was one great devotee of Suryadev named Satyajit. And Satyajit worshipped Suryadev. And Suryadev was very pleased by his worship. And he gave him a jewel called the Shamantaka jewel. So that was given by Suryadev to Satyajit, who was a king. He gave him. So that means definitely he saw Suryadev. How can he receive the jewel if he didn't see Suryadev? Suryadev just appeared in front of him and gave him the jewel. And that jewel could produce, I can't remember exactly how much, but many pounds or kilograms of gold every day. So he worshipped the jewel every day, and so much gold was being produced like that every day. Unfortunately, due to getting all that gold, he became puffed up, became proud, and he falsely criticized Krishna himself for stealing the jewel. Because at one point, he lent the jewel to his brother. I think his name was Prashena. He lent it to his brother. And his brother went out for a ride. He had the jewel around his neck. He went out for a ride in the forest on a horse. And a lion killed him and took the jewel. And then a big bear, Jambavan, killed the tiger, the lion, and took the jewel. But when his brother didn't come back, Satyajit started spreading rumors around Dwarka that Krishna has killed my brother and taken the jewel because he wanted it. So, because people had previously said that, why are you holding the jewel? You should give it to Krishna because he's God, But he didn't do that. So he just speculated that Krishna wanted it, but he didn't want it. I mean, all wealth comes from Krishna. He doesn't need any wealth. So Krishna ended up, to clear his name, he went looking for Prashena and the jewel. So he found Prashena dead in the forest. And then further walking, he found the lion dead. And then further walking, he found a cave entrance. So he walked in the cave and saw Jambavan's son playing with the jewel. And then Jambavan's son had a nurse looking after him. So when the nurse saw Krishna, she assumed that he had come to steal the jewel. And she was afraid for the child, so she screamed. And immediately Jambavan came. Now, Jambavan was the most powerful living entity on the planet at that time. He was actually still living from the Ramayana time. He was actually a great devotee of Lord Ram from the Ramayana. So that was 2 million years ago. So he was still living 5,000 years ago. So he had a very long lifespan, blessed by Lord Ram, of course. So, but he didn't recognize that Krishna is identical with Rama. So he saw that Krishna was like an enemy that had come to take the jewel. So they fought together. Krishna and Jambavan fought against each other for, I think it was 28 days, continuously, day and night. And and Jambavan, after 28 days, he was pummeled to bits. And he was so tired and so sore. And he was thinking, well, I'm the most powerful creature on the planet. There's only one person that's stronger than me, and that's my worshipful Lord Ram. So therefore, this person, Krishna, must be Rama. And then in his mind, he surrendered to Krishna. And as soon as he did that, all of his aches and pains went away, and he got full realization that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. So that's what we're saying. God has to reveal himself. You can't know, he didn't know that Krishna was God until Krishna revealed himself to Jambavan. And then Jambavan was really sorry that he'd tried to beat up God, his friend, and that he loved. So he gave his daughter Jambavati. So that's one of Krishna's first 8 wives, Jambavati. He gave Jambavati to Krishna. So Krishna took back a new wife with him. So that was very good, and the jewel. So Jambavan gave the jewel, and Jambavan didn't care about the jewel because he's a devotee, right? So he's not materialistic. So he just gave that valuable jewel to his little kid to play with. He didn't care about the jewel. It was just a toy for his kid, you know. And then Krishna went back to Dwarka and handed the jewel to Satyajit and told him what really happened. So Satyajit felt really bad. Oh, I falsely accused, you know, Krishna. So he gave his daughter to Krishna to like say sorry, you know, and then that was Satyabhama. So that was you know, a very wonderful wife of Krishna, Satyabhama. So and these are all incarnations of Radharani, of Lakshmi, all these different ones like that. So very wonderful pastimes there. But that's like we're talking about, you know, most people can't see the sun god, but he worshipped the sun god, and the sun god was pleased, and he revealed himself. So in the same way, if you serve Krishna and he's pleased by your service, then he reveals himself to you. But if he doesn't, I mean, if you're ignorant of him, and you act foolishly and everything, and you're envious of God and everything, then you'll never see him. You know, he'll never reveal himself, and like that. So that's the first thing. You know, we have to try to get out of this ignorance. You know, so and we might say, well, how the hell did I come to Krishna consciousness? Because I'm a real Buddha. You know, I'm a real fool. You know, how do I deserve to, you know, realize Krishna? And that's only because of the mercy of the devotees. Now, because the fact is that, I mean, I put my hand up. I was, you know, a big fool, and but a devotee very kindly reached out to me and enlightened me, you know, and got me out of that ignorance. And he told me why it was wrong to kill animals. You know, I didn't even know, you know. So, you know, I was working on a farm where animals were being killed, and he told me why it was wrong to kill animals, and he answered all my questions and all my doubts and everything, and he woke me up, you know. He snapped me out of ignorance. And that was my qualification to come to Krishna consciousness, was the mercy of the devotee. You know, so that it's mercy. So that mercy comes from two ways. Either mercy comes from a devotee or it comes from Krishna. Actually, it's said that what's that verse? Brahmanda Brahmate Kauna Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadi Paya Bhakti Leda Bija. So it's said that the living entity, the Jiva, is wandering in the Brahmanda, in the universe, for many, many millions of lifetimes. And if that soul is fortunate, Bhagyavan, if that soul is fortunate, that soul gets the kripa, the prasad, the mercy from Guru and Krishna. Guru Krishna prasadi paya bhakti lada bija, and then receives the seed of bhakti, the seed of devotional service. So it's actually said that by the mercy of Krishna, you get the Guru. And by the mercy of the Guru, you get Krishna. So what does that mean? So I'll give you an example, the best way to explain what that means. So by the mercy of Krishna, you get a Guru. By the mercy of Guru, you get Krishna. So how does that work? So when I was distributing books a long time ago in New Zealand, I met one man, and first I went to his office, and first thing he said was, "I'm not interested, get lost, I've got no time." So I started to walk away, and then he said, "Hang on a minute, what have you got there? Show me what you got." And then I came back, and I showed him the science of self-realization, said a few words, and he said, "Okay, here." He threw a few coins and then took the book, and like I went. So he was a bit rough, and he didn't give me very much, just a couple coins. And anyway, I gave him the book. And then the next day, I was dropped off by my mates out of the van, and within a few seconds of getting out of the van with my pile of books I was carrying, this delivery van drives up to me, and it's that man that was in the office the day before. And he wound down the window and said, and indicated, come over here. So he said, look, I'm just so sorry the way I treated you yesterday. He said, you know, I didn't really treat you very well, and I didn't give you much money for the book. And he said, I read 50 pages of that book last night, and it's changed my life. And I just want to tell you a bit about me. And he said, I was making $100,000 a year. I was making $50,000 a year, and I was thinking, if I make $100,000 a year, I'll be completely happy. So he worked extra hard and everything, and he actually got $100,000 a year. And he was driving his delivery van one day after making $100,000, and he was thinking, I'm more unhappy now than I was when I had $50,000. So he said he was so frustrated, so confused. For the first time in his life, as an atheist, he said he prayed to God, God, if you exist, then please help me. And the next day that he prayed to God, the next day I came to his office and showed him these books about God. Self-realization. So that's what immediately his conditioned response was, get lost, no time. But then he remembered, hey, wait a minute, I prayed yesterday, God help me. Maybe this monk is the answer to my prayer. You know, so then that's why he changed his mind. Hang on a minute, what have we got? Like that. And then he said, I didn't give you much. Here, take this. So he gave me a huge donation. And then he said, oh, I've also got a friend that's really depressed at the moment. Do you have a book that can help him? I said, sure, here, take this. So I gave him a Bhagavad Gita, you know, for his friend. And he gave another donation, you know. So that's what it means. You know, by the mercy of Krishna, you get a guru. And by the mercy of guru, you get Krishna. So then so when Krishna sees that the person is a little bit receptive, you know, and calling out, you know, God help me, God save me, or whatever like that, thinking, is there a God, or who am I, or why am I here, why am I suffering, all this kind of stuff. Then if you start to think like that, then God says, oh, you're a little bit receptive now to understanding about me. I'll send someone to help you further. So then he sends one of his representatives, and then they teach us the process of devotional service. So then the guru will teach us how to chant, how to offer food, you know, how to be a devotee, what not to do, you know, follow the 4 regulated principles and everything. And that way you'll get Krishna, you know, so that the devotee will train us how to become Krishna conscious, how to practice devotional service. But it was by Krishna's mercy that you met a devotee like that. But there has to be a little bit of favorability there in order for Krishna arrange to meet the devotee. Like that. Does that make sense? Anyone want to say anything about that?
No, it's fine.
So what makes
Yeah,
yes.
Mercy of the Guru, you'll get Krishna. Krishna's mercy, yes, you will. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
100%.
It's a process actually of revelation. This bhakti process that Krishna gets revealed. You know, it's not just by. See, there's 2 things, right? One path is by your work. You know, and that's the way we're trained, right? In the West, especially. You put the work in and you'll get the results, right? You do the work and you'll get the results, right? There's another pathway, which is that the results come down to us as a gift from Krishna. By his mercy, you can progress. So one side is you work and you progress. You make progress through your hard work. And another pathway is that without even doing work, then by his mercy, like lifts you up. Like Like, I'll give you an example. Imagine you're in a hole, in a hole in the ground. What's 2 ways you can get out of the hole in the ground? Imagine you've fallen into a well or something. You know,
Somebody
so
send a rope, maybe.
Well, what's that?
Somebody send a rope.
Yeah.
To that to come out to pull it, or letter, something.
Okay, someone pulls you out with a rope, and what's the other way of getting out?
You can crawl up through your own.
So which is better, would you say? It's better to try to crawl out of the well by your effort, or better if someone pulls you out?
Pulls out.
Well, I think the rope's better. Like, we're not a lizard.
So the rope, someone hanging the rope, that's the mercy method. And you trying to climb out is just your endeavor, by your hard work, by your labor, by my labor, I'll, get out like that. So, yeah, it's much better to get the mercy. So does that mean we don't do any work? We don't do any endeavor? No, it doesn't. But what it means is our endeavor is not so much to get out of the material world. Our endeavor is to try to please Krishna and attract his attention, try to attract Krishna's attention and his mercy. And he pulls us out. So there's nothing we can really do to get out of this material world. It's such an incredible prison house. We can't break out. There's nothing we can do to break out of this material world. I mean, I've explained before, according to the scriptures, this material world is covered by 7 layers. The first layer that covers the universe, the first shell covering the universe, is the same diameter as the interior of the universe. I think the interior of the universe is, I think from memory, 4 billion miles wide. So that's what you see when you look at the sky. This is the interior of the universe. So that's 4 billion miles wide. And the first layer, which is Earth, that covers it, is 4 billion miles wide. And the second layer, which is water, is 10 times as thick as the first layer, 40 billion miles. And the third layer, fire, is 10 times thicker than the third layer. And like that, 10 times, 10 times, 10 times. How are you going to break out, mate?
No chance.
Well, with your pick and your hammer.
We can only if Krishna's mercy.
Yeah, by Krishna's mercy. But
yes.
Tell you what, like, there was one pastime where Krishna was in Dwarka also, and one Brahmana's child was taking birth, and it just disappeared. It was born, wah, and then poof, it's gone.
Oh.
It's happened time after time after time. And after this happened many times, the Brahmana went to the king, Ugrasen, the king of the Yadu dynasty, Ugrasen, and complained, look, what kind of king are you? You're bloody useless. What, protecting us, under your protection, my child's all dying. You're hopeless. And so Arjuna happened to be there in the king's court, and he said, well, if this king is impotent, he can't look after you. I am Arjuna, the holder of the Gandiva bow. I will protect you. You just tell me when your next child is going to take birth, and I'll protect it. If I can't, I'll jump into the fire.
Oh, okay. He did the vow.
Krishna pulled him aside after the set and said, Arjuna, you nutcase, why did you say such a stupid thing? Now, if you can't do it, you're done, mate. Guys, once they say something, that's it. They don't break their word.
Oh, yeah. No, they can't break the vow. Yeah.
Give you a word today and you break it tomorrow. But these guys, if you say something, that's done. That's it. It's like you're written in stone. Like
you have to die here, instead of,
right? So what happened? The next child was going to be born, and the Brahmana called him. Arjuna created an impenetrable fortress over his house with arrows. He's just such a
good archer.
you couldn't even put your finger in between two arrows. He created this impenetrable wall over the house. And the child was born, whack, whack, whack. And then, poof.
Oh.
Arjuna's like, oh my God. So he started to light the fire. He was going to jump in. And Krishna said, hang on a minute. Look, we'll get the child. Don't worry. You don't have to, kill yourself right now. So Krishna called his chariot and his horses. He's got these 4 amazing horses, Mega Pushpa, and I can't remember all their names. They're all different colors and everything like that. And they're really transcendental horses. So they just took off into space. They're like transcendental horses. So they took off into space, and they went to all the different planets in the universe looking for these kids, and they couldn't find it. We went to Yamaloka, the hellish planet, not there. Went to Indraloka, Brahmaloka, Shiva Loka, not there, not there. So then Krishna took him and Arjuna in the chariot through the layer of earth, through the layer of water, the layer of fire, sky, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, all this. Took him right through, took him into the causal ocean on the other side of the layers of the universe, into the spiritual world. And they went there, was lying on the current ocean as Mahavishnu, gigantic form. He's the one that the universe has come out of his skin pores. That's an idea how he is. The universe has come out of his skin pores. And they went to Mahavishnu, and guess who had the kids? Mahavishnu.
Oh.
Why did Mahavishnu have the kids? He wanted to see Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that by stealing those kids, that Krishna would have to come. That Krishna would have to come to protect Arjuna. So he was stealing the kids. Like that. So that's how attractive Krishna is. Even Krishna's incarnation, because Mahavishnu is an incarnation of Krishna. But Krishna is so attractive that even Krishna's incarnation wants to see him. So he took darshan of Krishna and said, here, have the children. You can take them now. But that just shows you that even that Mahavishnu is an expansion of Krishna, but he's also different. Because if he wasn't different from Krishna, why would he want to see himself? You get the idea?
Yeah.
So even though Balaram comes from Krishna, Sankarshan comes from Krishna, Narayan comes from Krishna, Vamdev, Nrsingadev comes from Krishna, in one sense they're all the same, they're all one God. But also at the same time they're a bit different. They have their own personalities. So Mahavishnu is an expansion of Krishna, but he wanted to see Krishna because there's some difference also. So that's pretty mind-blowing. So, yeah, wonderful pastime. But, yeah, Krishna had no trouble to leave this material world just in a few moments, and took Arjuna too. So once again, when we die, Krishna can take our soul to the spiritual world in a moment. He can take us through all those coverings, but you try to break through that. I mean, Ravana, forget about Ravana tried to get through the coverings. He just tried to build a staircase to go to Swarga, which is peanuts. That's nothing. But he couldn't even make that. He got an arrow, Ram's arrow in his heart, before he can even make a staircase to heaven. If someone as powerful as Ravana can't even make a staircase to heaven without getting destroyed, how are you going to get, break through all the layers? Forget about it. So actually the progress is just by mercy. Well, I can just say, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, 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 Hare.
Krishna. My contact. Oh, my devotee, Abhay Charandas, has just chanted my name. Oh, I better go and pull him up. So then you can get out. Which would you rather
He
do?
can pull from there.
He can pull it.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't have a seeker, even if your hair fell out, he can still take it. So it doesn't matter. He can find a way, that's the thing, So that this is much better, this path, because it's depending not so much on how good you are at working, how big your endeavors are, how rich you are, how intelligent you are, how good looking you are, how educated you are. It doesn't depend on any of your material qualifications. It's only depending on, Krishna's mercy. And Krishna can give his mercy to anyone. He doesn't only give his mercy to you if you're, got a PhD, MBA, BSc, or if you're a millionaire, or if you look good, or if you're white, or you're black, or whatever, if you're healthy or whatever. He can give it to anyone he wants. Whoever he's pleased to give it to, he can give us mercy. I mean, in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, this is just 500 years ago, there was one Muslim man, which is immediately telling you it's not a very good position, because, in their religion, they can eat cows, which we know, according to, the Vedas, is not good at all to eat cows. So he was a tailor. And previously it was like that the people that worked with the leather, they would kill the animal and then take the skin off it, and they would eat the flesh and then use the skin to make shoes and belts and so forth like that. So it's a very low class occupation to be making shoes and stuff like that, according to the Vedas. So, but he mended some shoes for a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, Srivas Thakur. So that was some service. He did some service for a devotee. So one day Lord Chaitanya was walking, and the Muslim man was also walking on the same road. And Lord Chaitanya is omniscient. He's God. He knows what everyone has done. And he knew that this man had done some service for Srivas Thakur, fixing his shoes, that's all, but still service. So he immediately, he was pleased with this man, had done some service for his pure devotee. So he immediately embraced him. And do you know what happened to him when he was embraced by Lord Chaitanya? He had zero Krishna consciousness before meeting Lord Chaitanya. Zero. And do you know how much Krishna consciousness he had after he was embraced by Lord Chaitanya? 100%.
Wow.
100%. He was embraced by Lord Chaitanya. He was completely transformed on the spot. All of his hairs on his body stood on end. His voice choked up. Tears were coming out of his eyes sideways. He fell unconscious. He was rolling on the ground. So many ecstatic things. His body color changed. He was just completely in ecstasy. So he went from no level to the highest level. It's mercy. It's mercy. Yeah. So when God comes like that, he can give mercy. And also the devotee can give mercy. And even one time, like, for example, Prabhupada was getting off a plane. That time they had steppers coming down off the plane. There was not that thing they have now. Just walk down straight off the stairs. And people could see and be there. And some new devotees, just seeing Prabhupada walk off the plane, they just started crying. Just seeing Prabhupada. So like the pure devotee like that too has had this ability to give mercy, to immediately awaken Krishna consciousness. I told you before that story. I love that story in the airport, where one African man, Afro-American man, sees Prabhupada coming around the corner and says, "Look at that man, he's shining, look at that man." So Prabhupada's mercy to him, he could see this effulgence, this light coming out of Prabhupada's body. That was mercy, that he could see that, blinding light coming out of Prabhupada's body, So it comes from Krishna, comes from Krishna's devotee. And that mercy is still available also in the form of the holy name. The holy name is Krishna. Don't think that Krishna left, Krishna's not here anymore, and we're in Kali Yuga, it's a horrible time. No, but Krishna's name is here. So as soon as you chant Krishna's name, like Prabhupada said, Krishna's dancing on your tongue. So all of the mercy that you could get when Lord Chaitanya was here, all the mercy that you could get when Krishna was here, that mercy is still here. But we have to, take shelter of the holy name, and as much as possible chant the holy name with concentration and attention and as purely as possible. The only reason why we're not getting all the mercy immediately like that Muslim man got when we chant the holy name is because we're chanting with offenses. So the first thing to do is we have to know what the offenses are and try not to do them. And when you try not to do them, that's another level of chanting. So when you're making offenses, that's called namaparad. When you try to stop, when you know what they are and you try to stop making offenses, that's called namabas. Namabas. And when you've actually achieved it, of actually stopped making offenses, then that's called shudanam. That's when the tears come out of your eyes and it happens like that. So, but still, even in the beginning, when we chant with offenses, don't worry about it, because don't think, oh, I'm making offenses, I should just stop chanting because I'm making offenses. No, it said the recommendation is you should keep chanting, and just by keep chanting, that will help you to get free from offenses. So the only solution for making offenses while chanting is just to keep chanting. That's the only solution. And then slowly we can come out of this. But we should get some knowledge and know what the offenses are, the things that Krishna doesn't like, and then try to avoid them like that. And then Krishna will be pleased, and Krishna will enlighten us, and we'll get out of this foolish ignorance stage, and Krishna will reveal himself. But we're very fortunate. So Krishna is present, and he wants to give us mercy. But the only thing that's stopping Krishna giving us the mercy is what?
Ignorance.
Yeah, like I'm saying, he doesn't give it to ignorant people in this verse. So we have to get out of ignorance. And that's why we have these soul-searching sessions, and why we read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and attend classes and so forth, is to try to get out of ignorance, like that. And that's the whole idea. When we're the only thing that's, our worst enemy is this ignorance is keeping us away from Krishna and stopping, the mercy flowing. So
Yeah.
And that's why devotees association is so valuable, because they're giving knowledge. That's the best gift, is the gift of knowledge. So through that knowledge, we can get out of this ignorance, and then Krishna will reveal himself to us. Well, I said it would be a short session today because we started.
That's okay. That's okay.
Would either of you like to say anything?
No, it's pretty crystal clear. It's have you read the Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Which canto has got that Ashtavakra and Janak's conversation? I want to read.
Astavakra, are you sure?
It's in the Bhagavatam or not?
No, not from my memory.
But how come Bhagavatam has got everything? How come that's not in the Bhagavatam?
Everything. It's 18,000 verses.
Yeah.
Mahabharata is 500,000 verses, I think it's got.
Okay. I thought, okay, it's not in Bhagavatam. Okay.
Bhagavatam is the essence of the Vedas. Okay. It's not everything, it's giving you the essence.
You heard about that? Ashtavakra gave it the King Janak.
He's a famous rishi, famous sage.
Yeah. So I just want to see his conversation with the King Janak. I want to hear that.
You might find that in Purana or something.
Okay. Not in the Bhagavatam. Okay.
No. Of course, it mentions Astavakra in the Bhagavatam. It mentions Janak in the Bhagavatam, the father of Sita.
Yeah.
Lord Ram's wife Sita. So
Janak become his devotee.
He's actually one of the 12 Mahajans. So there's 12 great authorities in devotional service. So he's one of the 12 greatest authorities of devotional service, Janak. Okay. So he knows the secrets of devotional service, what is everything. So he's mentioned in Bhagavatam as one of the 12 great authorities. And they're known as Mahajans, great personalities. Maha means great, Jan means person. So then he's known one of the 12 Mahajans. So yeah. And he must have been a great Mahajan to have Lakshmi take, become his child.
Yeah,
Sita.
that's right. Yeah.
See, Sita's being his child is not ordinary. Do you know how Sita appeared?
From the farming, when the farming, it just come out of the ground. Yeah.
He was plowing. He was plowing the field with the bullocks.
Yeah.
And saw this effulgent child in the ground.
Yeah.
And just picked her up and thinking, oh, she's so beautiful. We should adopt her as our child. So, and Radharani also appeared like that. Radharani was just found by King Vrishabhanu in the field. So they weren't born, like Krishna didn't have an ordinary birth. So all these Lakshmis also, they're not shoved out of the womb after being in there for 9 months, kicking and screaming. They just appear. They just appear like that.
Deepa, there's only 2 kind of people can see Krishna. Which are the 2 kinds? Oh, she got a mute on the. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
There's
I can hear
2
you.
kind of people can see Krishna. You tell me which are the 2 kinds.
Those who are knowledgeable.
No, I tell you that. 1, those who are pure devotee, and 2nd, are demons.
Oh.
Yeah, because Krishna came to kill, Narasimha came to kill Hiranyakashipu, and Lord Rama came to Ravana. They're the demons. So the demon Kansa as well. But they're not demon like these days demon, the Kali Yuga. They're very powerful demons. So these 2 people can see Bhagavan. Pure devotee and demons. So what do you want to be?
They couldn't really see him as God. They would think he's ordinary.
Yeah, that's that. But he did came to. It's 1 hour. I think he started playing up the internet.
Okay, but they got the benefit. They got the benefit though.
They got to the Krishna came in. Yeah.
They get liberated. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so next week we can read the purport.
Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna.
Okay, have a nice week.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.